Right, so welcome again to Cannon Fodder, Easy Talk, but bite size, the smaller version of our extended live stream, I would say, that we usually do with our regulars. So again, this evening we have Raz, who's our regular host, and as most of you know, that he's my brother, and we have James Rowe. Now we were supposed to have TC from I Am Gonna Talk, but I think something may have got lost in the communication. So it's only going to be my two wonderful hosts in Raz and James. So guys, so welcome again. Thanks for coming on the show again.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You okay, Raz? Can you hear us, Raz?
Well, there's a slight delay, so sorry if I'm very hesitant, as it were, with our answers. But so I can see you guys. So yeah, I can just about make you guys out as well. So we should be all good.
Okay, cool. All right, nice one. So the first thing that I know we've spoken briefly about, and again, it's a regular topic that seems to come up on this channel, is Aaron Ramsey, and he scored a wonder goal against Fulham. He came off the bench, and at that moment, I was thinking, "Oh, Unai Emery, why are you taking off, Alex Iwobi and putting on Aaron Ramsey?" And lo and behold, he comes on, in 40 seconds, he scores maybe the goal of the season. But knowing that he scored that goal, do you think it changes anything? Does it change anything? Do you think he will, at some way or form, do you think he might do a U-turn and offer Aaron Ramsey a contract? What do you think? What do you guys think?
Personally, I don't think so. One of the things I've been most impressed about with Unai Emery so far this season, guys, is he's so proactive and extremely ruthless. At the same time, assessing his squad, giving everybody a fair chance, and who he doesn't deem good enough, he will eventually ship out. I think with Ramsey, I think personally he's seen the wage that Ozil has got, and he wants to be on par with that. Now, to make that jump for a player who, yes, has been very important scoring in 2 FA Cup finals, but he's currently on the bench and he's currently a squad player, also coming on in the League Cup against Brentford, I believe. And you can't give someone who's just a squad player that amount of money a week. I think Unai Emery has made his decision. I think the contract has since been withdrawn. So that shows you how proactive they're being behind the scenes with Raul Sunhaili in making the right decision. They're trying to build a base upon which to work from. This is a new era which fans appear to be embracing, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, to win 9 games on the bounce at any level is very impressive. But also the way that Unai Emery has gone about his business. Now, I think with the case with Ramsey, it's a little bit too late in the day now, but you would hope going forward, guys, that when contracts are issued, that the length of the contracts are sharpened in terms of how long they are. And they're also brought into line with wages, because we saw in recent years and in recent squads, players earning so much money at Arsenal, they're not necessarily going to earn that elsewhere. And sometimes it can be therefore difficult to get them off the books.
So in your opinion, James, you don't think it changes anything? He's still going to be
a marvelous goal, but I think Raul and Unai Emery are in constant communication. I think it's a deliberate decision, and I think it's ruthless. I think it's a great sign, because Arsene Wenger, as fantastic manager as he was, he would overindulge the odd player every now and again to the detriment of Arsenal Football Club. And that wasn't good. So now we're entering an era where they appear to be a lot more proactive, especially behind the scenes, and that can only be a good thing going forward.
Yeah, but James, what did you make of his goal celebration when he did this? What do you think he was trying to communicate when he was doing this?
I have no idea. I mean, it's a team game at the end of the day. It's a team game at the end of the day, guys, and that was a team goal. I was behind the goal and watched that goal go in live, and it was just everybody. I mean, the impressive thing for me was the determination that Aubameyang showed to put that ball in the box at pace. You know, to get past that defender and put that ball in as quickly as he could, and he did. And I think with celebrations that can be very much, with the shrugging of the shoulders and that kind of thing, it was the assist from Aubameyang that made that goal in terms of the pace on the ball and the angle for Ramsey to backheel it. And I think he could have complimented his teammates just a little bit more.
Yeah. Raz, what do you think? Do you think scoring a wonder goal for Aaron Ramsey changes the landscape? Do you think he'll?
Well, I thought that.
Sorry.
No, I thought that it was like a FIFA goal the way that he started, because it was a lovely build up, and for him to be on the end of it and to sink it like he did, is a beautiful team goal. I see it as a beautiful team goal, and the celebration afterwards with his shoulders up, to me, pretty much, I'm not sure if it's a sign of arrogance, or he just felt, look, this is what I could do for the team. But if you want to take that kind of attitude back a couple of months ago, when it came to signing the contract, when it was offered, I don't know how much it was offered, but I would imagine it was offered a substantial amount to sign. And let's not forget as well that we've backed this player for I think he's been with the club for about 10 years. If you want to look at consistency, look at the consistency back after when he broke his leg, from the point when he came back into the team. The consistency within that period of time hasn't been consistent. He didn't really pull matches by the scruff of the neck. He's, as James mentioned, is a squad player at best. And I think, all right, if he doesn't sign, well, he's not signing. He's not going to sign. I don't think the goal changes anything. The goal is going to be one of those memorable goals. But when he goes to another team, whether if he goes abroad or wherever he ends up, I think his ability is going to be just as it is. He is a squad player. He's not a player that has an immediate control of the game, other than 2 FA Cups. So 2 FA Cups and a couple of memorable goals. Consistency is key, and Unai Emery has shown that that's what he wants. If you're not consistent, if you're not willing to do your bit, then he has no compulsion taking you off, and he's done it with Ozil. So he shows he's not a no-nonsense manager.
Yeah, and actually, just the other point we want him under Unai Emery's regime, he is quite stringent in the dietary needs and the training. And I remember back in August, they were showing the video clips, and they promoted video photos of the players training. And in, I think, early August, there was some news that Unai Emery wanted his players to lose more weight. I think he felt maybe some of his players still were carrying too much fat around their guts. The training regime is like, it's bearing the fruits of its labor. What do you think about that, James? Do you think now we've got a super fit team now?
Yeah, I fully agree, and I think in the long term it's going to pay off. It's a long old season, as we know only too well, but the fact that Unai Emery has come with so much determination to be successful, I think it's really refreshing. He has a substantial experience with Valencia and Sevilla and Paris Saint-Germain, and this experience is all relative. And you also mustn't forget, when he was in charge of Almeria, the Spanish side, he managed to get them promoted to La Liga for the first time in 25 years. And that kind of come out of nowhere, but he's just so determined, and he's to take the opportunity of being Arsenal manager and to be so proactive with subs, and to be so strict, players will adhere to that. And I think that this is, and also the impressive thing for me, guys, is this is just the beginning. He's signed a 2-year deal, and to be so determined from the off, not just to be a run-of-the-mill Premier League manager, but to put things in place for Arsenal to win. And I know we're only 8 games in and a positive European start, but I'm extremely confident, guys, that Unai Emery will win a trophy in his very first debut season as manager of Arsenal.
Raz, what do you think about the new regime, the training regime, the dietary, the banning of fruit juices under Unai Emery? Do you think obviously, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think he's bearing like fruits of that hard labor? What do you think about that?
I think what Unai Emery has done is pretty much what Arsene Wenger done when he first came into Highbury. He set up. He knew that he had a good back four, and he got key players in who were willing to take on the fact that they needed supplements. They needed to look after themselves. The old kind of like English cliche of like having a beer afterwards was pretty much frowned upon. He made sure that they performed to the level that he wanted them to perform, but he backed up with science and sports technology, as it were, back then. And hence the reason why you see all the other teams now have got that template that Arsene Wenger had put in place, and they become successful. So Unai Emery, if you remember, when he came into the job, he had a dossier on every player. He had a dossier on what he wanted, how he wanted the team to perform. And he also had a dossier on where his vision lies with Arsenal. And I think it is 8 games in, 9 games in. We probably have to take a little bit of a breather because the first 2 matches were like, in my eyes, were non-starters. We could have beaten Chelsea, really, and we were a couple of goals short of drawing with Man City. So we've taken off. Unai Emery, I love the fact of the videos where he shows the team is bonding and they're taking into consideration how important it is to be a team. The little cynical voice in my back of my head is saying, well, where was all that when Arsene was asking some of the same players to do the same thing? It seems to me that they probably fell into that kind of like comfort zone of not pushing because they knew the manager may be on his way out. So with Unai Emery, a no-nonsense manager, he's showing them that this is what he wants. And if you're not willing to pull up trees, then you know where you're going to go.
But you know what? Don't get me wrong. It's good to see that we see the players, converge together. But isn't that not commonplace? Because I see the Man City players do that. I see the Liverpool players do that. I see that team down the road that the players do that. So is it so special to see the players celebrate and come together, after scoring a goal like that? Is it just, or is it because we've known for a long time, but we suffered, the last season under Arsene Wenger. But is it just, it's not to see players come together.
Are you asking that it should be like a common kind of team build where you got that confidence in each other and then you celebrate as you celebrate, or are you saying in the sense that because they're doing it and we're doing it, there's got to be some kind of end product at the end of putting all that effort into scoring a goal?
No, I guess I'm alluding to is genuine that the players are celebrating together. Is there really a togetherness, or is it just something that's been manufactured under Unai Emery?
I think you can see signs that there is a togetherness, to be honest. I mean, I've watched them live 3 times this season, and the 3 common denominators for me, guys, are the proactive subs and the fact that when they play a pass, they're always looking to see what teammates are available to play the best pass. There's none of this dwelling on the ball. There's none of this insecurity when closing players down. We look a lot fitter, and you can see that Emery's putting things in place to build a team ethic. I mean, if you look at his Sevilla side and Valencia side that he managed in the past, they had wonderful team effort where they would all work as one. And I think he's trying to replicate that here at Arsenal too.
And long may it continue as well. I do like to see that, really. All right, so guys, before we continue, again, James, I like to do, like a small competition on the channel when we do the live stream. So this time, it's a slight different competition. And the question is, so we saw that Aaron Ramsey came off the bench, and I think it was clocked at maybe 38 seconds. He scored his wonder goal. So the question is, who or which Arsenal player has scored the fastest goal?
Oh, I think you've stumped me there, Alex. You've stumped me there.
The fastest goal.
When you've been watching the club for 30 years and you've got the highs of Copenhagen 94 and then you've got the lows of losing to Bradford on penalties and all the different things in between, you can't necessarily pick out who scored the fastest goal. But I'm sure when you tell me, I'm going to slap my knee and go, oh, I knew that.
Right. So what I'm going to do...
when do you need the answer?
Well, this is what I'm going to say. So what we usually do, James, unless maybe we've got a subscriber or someone who's looking at the live stream now who probably will be brave enough to tell us, we will continue until the end of the live stream, and then I will tell you who the person was. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So again, just alluding back to the match, Arsenal versus Fulham, there was one major player, one headline player who was absent through an injury that he sustained, I guess maybe in training or before training, and that was what's going to happen when we play our next Premiership match? Do you think Mesut Ozil has the right to walk back into the squad?
Personally, no.
Fully well that why not?
Personally, no. He's on an absolutely mammoth wage, humongous wage. And the thing with Ozil, which kind of gripes me, which not many people talk about, when the contract news was broke and all the news and reaction about Ozil signed for £300,000 a week, what stuck with me, fellas, was Arsene Wenger's quote of, "We're saving money because we'd have to pay an awful lot more to replace him." That's what stuck in my mind. If you are creative, if you want to change things, to give you an example, both guys, Leicester won the league. Leicester won the league with a fantastic balance and a real team ethic. And it's one of the miracles of modern football of the last 20 years. I don't think any of the Leicester players were on 300 grand a week, but every single game they were getting closer and closer. They were being written off. And I just think, for me, with the Ozil, think of what it would cost to replace him, it smacked a little bit of desperation from my part, from the club, which is a bit strange, really. He is a tremendous player. But if you look at the work rate last Sunday against Fulham, and especially the second half performance, like I said, Aubameyang busting a gut to take on that defender and put that ball in for Ramsey. We were already winning the match, and just those types of things. I stand by my claim, fellas, that I believe that Emery is assessing his squad. He will give everybody a fair chance, and I think we'll see. I think we'll see change in the summer, and I would not be surprised if Emery is not entirely convinced by Ozil that he may well leave in the summer. But we'll just have to wait and see.
There won't be any movement in January. You don't think Emery will?
No. I think he knows that you've got a gap of 4 months in between, and when you're assessing your squad, I mean, you look at the chances he's given Emil Smith-Rowe already. I think Emery will let it come full circle where he gives the whole squad an opportunity over the entire domestic season, and then in the summer make his choices. But I also think that's the most sensible approach, to be honest.
Yeah. Raz, what do you think? Do you think Ozil will get an automatic step back into the first team against Leicester?
That's a really tough question, because
It is.
When a team wins as well as they have done, and let's not forget that Ozil's missed out on two matches, and the team's won without him. I think that I think Unai Emery will put him in because he'll have to, purely on the fact that we will need him in. And if anything, I think it will do one or two things. It'll either get Ozil to start realizing, hang on a minute now, look, I'm on this wage, and I've got to start doing something because the club could get rid of me. And let's not forget that he's had a lot of support from us from the summer after what Germany went through, and his stance with being singled out as well. So to me, I'm not a Premiership player. If I was being dug out on quite a few occasions, I feel I have to perform. If he's suffering from some kind of illness or something, and he gets back in and he wins, we win a match. If he scores a goal that wins us the match, then he's pretty much put his stamp on it. It's pretty much the way that Ramsey's done it as well. So Ozil might do another gesture like this to say, like, hey, I'm justifying my wage packet. It's not an easy ask, but for me, he's got a lot of support from us still. He's still got a lot of support from us, but he's got to start repaying that back in kind.
Yeah. But I know that Unai Emery won't pick, or has not been picking players just because they're on a high wage or they're high profile players. He's been picking the players who are on form, who have been showing him that they are worth their place in the team. I don't think he will pick players just because they're on mega bucks.
No.
So
no.
I would be very surprised if Ozil ends up being back in the team come the match against Leicester. I'd be very, very surprised. I'll be very disappointed. That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah.
But then what happens if?
I think Raz makes a great point when a team plays so well and so convincing away from home, it's difficult to change that team for the next following league game. But I agree with you, Alex. I think to let this team play the home match against Leicester, and Raz makes a good point too. Hopefully, it will give Ozil the sign that he needs, that he's got to up his game a little bit and be a bit more evident on the pitch, and have a bit more of a presence, really, on a more regular basis. I mean, we have that in matches, for example, against Chelsea and Ludogorets and FA Cup finals and things like this, but to see it happen on a more regular basis.
Just one other point, guys. Just one other point. At the end of the day, it's all on him. It's all on him. I can understand if he's been injured and he's carrying an injury and he's been given time to recuperate, but he can't. There's no one else he can blame. He can't blame the manager. He can't blame the teammates. He can't blame the fans. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all on him. He's just got to show up. He's got to show up.
Yeah. I don't want it to turn out into Ozil bashing, but do you think he's looking for a way out?
No.
Do you think he's looking for a way out? Because again, he had a back spasm. Couldn't be selected for the match against Fulham, and then he's had another sickness, hasn't he? I mean, was it the second match of the season or third match?
Maybe.
So is he? I don't know. It's a weird one with Ozil. Don't get me. He's a world class player, but on that ways, you would expect the player to be performing consistently on a regular basis. So I don't know. Is he looking for? Is he looking for a way out?
Maybe it's psychological. Yeah. Maybe it's, you know, because, you know, sometimes when you start spiraling, you start looking. Things tend to happen to you rather you try and make things happen. You know, there's so many factors that we're not aware of. You know, as you mentioned, maybe he's trying to find some kind of like excuse way out because he probably feels, hang on a minute now, I've got a manager actually who's demanding that I've got to show up. You know, under Arsene, it was pretty much, well, you know, you've got to work it out for yourself, and he had all that time to work it out for himself, and he had the fans on his back, he had everybody, you know, on him. But now, you know, he's got to look in the mirror and think, hang on a minute now, I've actually got a manager who's telling me what I need to do, and he's got no compulsion to take me off when I'm not performing. So he's got no excuses.
No, I fully agree. Personally, one undercurrent, I think, obviously he's a German international and has links to Turkey. It's just my opinion, guys, but I firmly believe that if Fenerbahce or Galatasaray came in for him with a concrete offer, I believe Arsenal would accept, and I also believe that he would go.
Yeah, I agree. He's been with us since 2013, so you know, so I don't know. Maybe it's time for him to move on. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
All right, so just one more thing then. Who would, if he had a choice to pick Ramsey or Ozil, who would you go for?
Are you asking me or James? I don't want to answer that
both
question.
Of you.
No, both. No, you can go first.
Sorry, James.
That's fine. I'm the guest, so I let you go first, of course.
At a push, oh my goodness. At a push, I would say Ramsey. I would say Ramsey. Although I wouldn't say he's worth 250,000 a week. But yeah, prefer to keep Ramsey.
My answer would be, if you're looking about this season, my answer would be it's looking as if Ramsey is going to go. It's a long old season, as we know only too well. So we need to get the last drops out of Ozil, if you like, and then I would look to identify a successor in the summer, because it's a big old world out there. I'm very pleased that Arsenal have started to be linked with the South American transfer market, because that's a market that's so untapped. And when Arsenal did tap into that market, we ended up signing Gilberto, who I was a teenager when he signed for Arsenal, and I was a bit overzealous in my criticism of Gilberto, but I realised as I got older what a tremendous player he was. And I think it's I think it's great. I think it's great that Arsenal are linked with the South American transfer market. My answer would be squeeze the last drops out of Ozil if Ramsey's going anyway, and identify a successor, buy a successor in the summer.
James, there's no more drops.
Squeeze the last drops out.
All right, guys. So let's get back to the competition. So let me put you guys out of your miseries. So it was in 2007, and it was a North London derby.
Of course it was, wasn't it?
And people who scored the goal, it was Nicholas Bentner.
I said,
what? Did you say Bentner?
I just said it. I said Bentner. You have to rewind the tape. I'm sure I said, Bentner.
Was that the one when he come on as a sub?
That's right. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's a great question, but then obviously, you know, guys, you know yourself, all the years, all the special games. You know, you've got your '94 Copenhagen, top of the world, and then you've got by Wrexham. And then and somewhere in
Oh
between
man,
all those memories, you don't necessarily think of the fastest
No,
goal, do you?
no, Lord Bentner, and they say it's clocked at 1 point. I don't know how this is 1.8 seconds.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he scored the quickest goal for Arsenal
jeez,
against those guys just down the road there.
them down the road.
But yeah, right.
Brilliant.
New kit deal we have with Adidas. Now I know James and myself, we were on a live stream early this week, Raz, and we gave our opinion about seeing good old Adidas back. What do you think about having Adidas back as our kit sponsors?
Sorry, you just cut out.
That's for you,
So
Raz.
I'll jump
Sorry.
in. I think it's a brilliant. It's retro. As far as I remember, Arsenal always was with Adidas, and then we went to Nike. Then we had, as you can see behind me, the O2 and everybody else. But so Adidas has been Arsenal, so I can't wait because the Puma ones. Sorry about this one, but the Puma ones have been a bit poor, to say the least. I could use stronger terms, but I won't do. But Adidas definitely all day long, all day long.
Yeah. Okay, and James, can you remind us what your thoughts are on?
I'm really pleased. I own the 1971 home and away replicas, which are a lot thicker in terms of material. So when you're going to games in the winter, you're a little bit more warmer. I haven't brought an Arsenal shirt for more than 10 years now. Yay, I've got the same one. Wonderful. And the thickness of it too, it's really good. I haven't brought an Arsenal shirt now for more than 10 years. I'm very much a traditionalist. As you can see, Raz, you're wearing a yellow Arsenal away shirt, which you can identify straight away. I really hope that Adidas listen to the fans, and their first kits are red and white and yellow and blue trim.
Blue, yeah.
Yes.
We've had all the colours of the rainbow. We've had black and pink. We've had mint green. We've had blue. We've had. I could understand the white one from the very early days in 2007, but these colours of black and pink.
I wasn't too keen on it. It reminded me of West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the colours of mint green and black with pink font. These colours have no association with Arsenal football whatsoever. No association with Arsenal Football Club whatsoever. So I really hope that Adidas listen to the fans and for their very first kits, don't go overboard just in terms of colours, red and white and yellow and blue, please.
Yeah. And like I said on Monday on Ryan's show, when I visualized the Arsenal kit, I just remember the logo. JVC was our one of our sponsors, and we won 2 league titles, 89 and 91.
Yeah.
So it could be maybe the stars are aligning somewhere for us. You know what I mean? But, yeah, you never know. You never know. It could be a sign of things to come. You know, sooner rather than later. You know. So yeah, Adidas, JVC, 2 titles, and Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Get in.
Of course, righty.
And David Rocastle, of course.
Absolutely. May his soul rest in peace. May his soul rest in peace.
Wonderful player. I don't know. Just going off course with just to make a point about David Rocastle as well. Do you remember a couple of years? Remember, I think it was 2 seasons ago now that Arsenal played Manchester City on the anniversary of his death. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And the match day program, you had Alexis Sanchez on the front. They could have put Rocky on the front of that program cover. They could have had a special page segment because he was. I mean, I was very, very young when he played for Arsenal, but I still remember watching him. His tremendous goal against Manchester United at Old Trafford, where he lobs Schmeichel. You know, people still sing his name now. Even at Fulham, you had the Fulham away last weekend. You had the chorus of Rocky Rocastle. He was such a special player, and I hope going forward with the club that when there are anniversaries of Rocky on a match day, that they give a little bit more involvement to letting people know of the anniversary, because I remember being at the Watford home game the season before, also around his anniversary, and before the match started, they claimed that they would be doing something at half time to honour that, and if my memory serves me rightly, they never did. So I really hope that going forward that the club just show a little bit more feeling to honour one of the greatest players the club has ever had on the anniversary of his death.
James, I guess Raz will tell you the story. He's going to name drop. So, who did we see many years ago in Wood Green, Raz?
Well, as Alex was about to allude, so Alex and I was in Wood Green in Next.
Yeah.
Next had popped up, and I was walking around. We was trying to get some really fly shirts and ties for a function we was going to go to, and in walks in David Rocastle. I'm sure it was with Paul Davis at the time, and
no, it was what's his name?
Can you remember?
It's called the winner.
Mickey Thomas.
Michael Thomas. Yeah. Michael Thomas. Yeah.
Right. So Michael Thomas. So the two of them in Next. There's me and Alex just looking for our ties and shirts and everything, and then David Rocastle asked me if I'm a shop assistant if I could give him a hand with buying the shirt. And I said, sorry, mate, I don't work here. And he said, oh, all right. And he walked away. And I looked at Alex, and Alex looked at me and say, like, that's David Rocastle. We were just stunned. We were just stunned. And then they walked out. They walked out the shop. We didn't think about asking any autographs or anything. But oh, mate, it's that's a memory. Remember forever.
What a nice natural memory to have.
Yeah, he's so rest in peace. May so rest in peace.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the live stream, and before we wrap up, James, I want to say a big thank you for coming on to the show. When you told me that you travel from the Netherlands to see Arsenal play, I thought, oh wow, what water, you know what I mean? But thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, James. Much pleasure, mate. Nice to meet you. Hopefully we can all meet up. I've got no excuses then. I'm only across the water from there, so we should all meet for a match one day.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll stay in touch and everything. If I could just let the viewers know as well, that I'm not just a gooner, but I also interview professional players and managers here in the Netherlands, and they're welcome to. Viewers are welcome to follow me on my Twitter handle @JamesROWENL, and they can read my interviews that I've done for World Football Index, which include the likes of Danny Cowley of Lincoln, Craig Eastman, who used to play for Arsenal, and Ricky van Rollerswinkel, who used to play for Norwich, now plays for Basel, and a fair few Dutch players and managers too, including Dennis Bergkamp's nephew Roland, who now plays for RKC Waalwijk in the Netherlands.
Wow.
But yeah, whoever's watching the live, what I'll do, I'll leave the link for for James Rowe NL in the comments box. But again, guys, and Raz especially, thank you very much. It's been a good blast. Again, it's bite-sized, not more than I think maybe 40, 45 minutes. We usually do a longer version of Easy Talk, but I guess we'll probably do that maybe November or December. But anyhow, this has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans, all in association with Raz and James Rowe NL. And we are